This is our spoiler-free review of Star Trek Section 31, the latest installment of the legendary Star Trek franchise. Watch on for our honest thoughts on the return of Michelle Yeoh as Philippa Georgiou and the Section 31 organization. Star Trek is no stranger to the Section 31 organization. While first appearing in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the secret division of Starfleet had a prominent feature in the second season of Paramount Plus's Star Trek Discovery series. Now, they're back with their own television movie. Ultimately, Section 31 is your typical action movie, with a predictable action plot and not much character development. The big issue though, it just does not feel or look like a Star Trek movie, which is a big problem for a movie in the Star Trek universe. Visual identity is key, but the movie also misses the mark by not properly exploring who Section 31 is. We'll go over this more in this review. It's also worth noting, we really wanted to go into this and liking it and enjoying it. Michelle Yeoh is fantastic and the highlight of the film, but the plot did let itself down. Now I will say, I really encourage you to go and watch the movie for itself when it's released on January 24th, 2025 on Paramount Plus. And for Europe, I believe it's released on Sky Showtime a little bit later. But click it down below to our article for more details on that. Originally designed as a TV series, following Yeoh's appearance on Discovery, the COVID-19 pandemic did delay production. After the delay, the Star Trek Strange New World series was prioritized instead. Section 31 was then redeveloped into a film project and originally announced in April 2023. Now, here we are. Section 31 marks the 14th Star Trek film and the first television film for the legendary franchise. Paramount Plus has embargoed pre-release reviews from talking about major story points, which of course we would not want to spoil for you. Therefore, watch out for our spoiler review to find out why the Section 31 movie is not the best Star Trek movie to beam down. Today, this will just be spoiler free, starting now. Here we go. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host, Captain Jack. Like always, if you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. Click the links in the video description to follow us on the social platform of your choice. Don't forget, you can also join our Discord server to chat about Star Trek with us. Seriously, come tell us about the movie and what you thought. If you want more Star Trek content, consider hitting that join button and supporting us directly to get some great perks. Now, if you're watching this video and you've already seen the Section 31 movie, please let us know your thoughts on the movie in the comment section below. Because like always, if you're talking about Star Trek, we want to hear about it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go. Engage. I was surprised that Section 31 is the first Star Trek streaming movie. It's an odd choice. As Trekkies have pointed out, Section 31 is very detached from the typical norm of the Star Trek universe. Watching the film is both a blessing and a curse, I think. In one way, not having the shackles of being within the United Federation of Planets allows more freedom in the organization's operations and what goes on. I mean, you can almost tell that with the colourful metaphors thrown around. Unfortunately, the movie did not explore much of the actual Section 31 organization within Star Trek. I was hoping for more of that, personally. That was my big wish for this film. It would have been great if the connection between how we found the organization in Discovery and then Deep Space Nine had been explored. The whole organization is a controversial subject within the Star Trek universe. Exploring something around that would have been really cool, yet the movie just ignores this. Film highlights this is a band of misfits rounded up to do the dirty work for Section 31 in the shadows. Though I think it would have been interesting to see more of regular Section 31 agents. And the movie does highlight the ongoing experiment with the Star Trek franchise. This is of course headed by the current franchise captain, Alex Kurtzman. Recent shows and this movie prove that experimentation is a key focus. The goal? Seemingly to attract new audiences to the Star Trek universe. Is it working? Likely not. As I'll explain in the next section, the Section 31 movie seems to not realise that it's within the Star Trek universe. While exploring outside the Federation is good because, people do live there, I fear new viewers would be confused. If they come, watch and ultimately enjoy Section 31, then they'll want to explore more of Star Trek. The rest of the shows and movies are vastly different from this movie's world. So, will they like them if they like Section 31? Maybe. Ultimately, time will tell when we get more reviews and feedback over the course of the next week. The Star Trek Section 31 film also does not seem to establish itself in the era of the Star Trek universe. Unfortunately, there are very few visual cues to inform viewers where this movie takes place. Yes, there is a stardate shown on screen, but unless you're a Star Trek expert, I know some of you are, it cannot be easy to understand that from a 5 seconds of screen time. If this film had not included the Star Trek The Next Generation guest character of Rachel Garrett, played by Casey Roll, you might have difficulty guessing where it occurs. I was expecting for a Star Trek movie that I would see some familiar looking Star Trek starships, Instead, I was disappointed. Yes, Section 31 is set outside of Federation space, which perhaps explains this creative choice. Still, I think there should have been some more effort made. I will say, the designs of the starships in the movie are actually kinda cool. You can see some connections between the Section 31 of the 23rd century and how we find them here in the early 24th century. I kinda like that. And while watching, viewers will see some familiar Trek species in a type of, oh, it's that guy. But beyond that, it is minimal. There are no significant story connections to the wider Star Trek universe. For example, during the run-up to this movie, many of us speculated that it could adapt book material to explain some odd events during this time era of the Star Trek universe, this being the Lost Era, by the way. That's not a spoiler, it was announced ages ago. Now, of course, the movie does not need a ton of canon connections or references to make it good. However, with that said, I think some familiar sights would visually aid the movie and also remind people where this movie takes place and what universe. How do we actually know it's Star Trek as a casual viewer? Now, an example of this that immediately comes to mind is the many Star Wars projects we see, and yes, hold your horses, I'm bringing up Star Wars in a Star Trek video. I know, blasphemy. Each one of these Star Wars projects by Disney and Lucasfilm contains some similar famous brand identity like stormtroopers. In this case, Star Trek doesn't seem to do so. Yes, you have familiar species like Vulcans and, the guy from TOS, but that's kind of it, and I think that's not enough. I've got to say, while the plot of the movie might have fallen short of my expectations, I really enjoyed the casting. Of course, Michelle Yeoh is perfect in every scene she is in. Yeoh is a master at work in any environment you put her in, and she effortlessly portrays Philippa Georgiou. I could easily watch more of her in this role. However, while Yeoh is fantastic, the writing does let her character down. It feels as if this adventure does not massively change her that much. Sure, she learns some new things, but by the end of the movie, I don't see her as any different. The rest of the movie's cast do well with what they've been given. Multiple times, I enjoyed lines delivered by Robert Kaczynski's Zeph. This is the Borg-looking exoskeleton guy. Amari Hardwick's Alok, who operates as the Section 31 mission leader, works well in this role and has a nice backstory that does actually connect to the wider Star Trek universe. I'll leave you to discover that yourself. Sam Richardson, Sven Rugrok, and Humberly Gonzalez also fit into the roles really well. Still, it does feel as if they did not have room to explore everyone properly. Including Casey Rowland's Rachel Garrett was a nice choice for the role, but I found myself asking, what was the point? It's great to have this character here, but did we need her? No. It's sad to say that, and by no means is that a criticism of Rowland's acting. She did great. However, it links back to my criticism of a lack of visual cues or connections. Perhaps if we saw Garrett in a Star Trek uniform at some point, it would have given us something, but the movie missed that opportunity. Honestly, the ending of Star Trek Section 31 did leave me wanting more from its crew. While the concept of Section 31 is not something I would have chosen first for a direct-to-streaming Star Trek movie, it can work. Life outside of a Federation has not really been explored. We see bits and pieces of this, but typically we're seeing it through the eyes of Starfleet or a Federation person. Section 31 is a bit different, as this is a regular person who's not living in that future utopian society we always see. So yes, I would be down for watching more of these adventures, but I feel like the writing does need to be changed. Ultimately, I feel as if in the attempt to make Star Trek Section 31 stand out, it may have walked too far away from a core idea of a Star Trek movie. It was fun, I had a few laughs at a screening in London, yet when I think about this movie as like the bigger picture, it drops the ball. The lack of commentary and insight into Section 31 is a big disappointment for me. That and the plot just being your typical, predictable action movie kind of makes this an overall disappointment. As I mentioned, I really wanted to love it and I really wanted to enjoy it because we're Star Trek fans, we love new Star Trek. I still think you should watch it and make up your own mind, and please do so. Don't just listen to reviews online. If you're a Star Trek fan, go and watch it and let us know what you think of it, because ultimately, that's what we need to do. The Star Trek Section 31 does release on January 24th, 2025 on Paramount+. We'll need to wait and see what Paramount Plus decides to do with their new format of television movies for Star Trek. I think this format could be used to explore characters, topics, and events within the wider Star Trek universe. What about a Riker movie, or maybe that Janeway sort of return fans have been asking for? This area of Star Trek is ripe to boldly go. I hope we get to see more adventures in the Star Trek movieverse. I think this is a good way of doing them, and I would certainly be up for seeing more. So that's a wrap on this spoiler-free review for Star Trek Section 31. Will we see more Star Trek television movies, or will we not? Only time will really tell, I guess. Unfortunately, other early reviews online are not looking good for this adventure. Stay tuned, as on Monday, we'll start breaking down all the details of the latest Star Trek movie, including the bits you might have missed. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Star Trek news, lore, and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server to chat more about the Star Trek universe. Hopefully I'll see you there. For now, I've been Captain Jack. thanks very much for joining me. It's great to talk more about modern Star Trek once again, and we'll catch you in the next video. Live long and prosper, my friends. Goodbye.